Hi, I'm Candace Gourdain. This is Fitness and Harmony's practice for helping with the inner critic and our feet. So let's get started. Please come with me. So we're going to start out standing on the mat. And I just want you to kind of roll around it on your feet and just feel the mat or whatever it is you're standing on underneath your feet. I want you to be able to feel that your toes, the outer edge, the heel are all pressing down. Now pay special attention to the big toe and the big toe mound. So kind of press down only there. The big toe mound. And practice balancing. So lift your heels up, press the big toe mound down, because when we're wearing shoes, we don't really balance at all. Now rise up onto the toes as far forward as possible and try to stay centered as much as possible. All right, from here, let's lift one foot and stir the toe around. Now if you're got something you can hold on to, please hold on. Go a few times in one direction and then the other direction. Point and flex your foot and then rock your foot side to side. Turn the foot the other way and press the top of the foot down into the floor. Take a breath in and let it go. Let's go to the other foot. So lift this one foot, gain your balance, hold on to something, stir the foot around. We're going to practice today trusting on your body's signals to listen. Go a few times one way, a few times the other way. So feel around the ankle, all the bones. Now rock the foot side to side, a boat. We're going to listen to the body's inner wisdom. Now point and flex. Now it's that inner wisdom that's telling you when something's not quite right, when something doesn't feel right. Then turn your foot the other way so the top of your foot pushes down into the mat and put a little bit of weight on it. Our feet actually have the same amount of dexterity and articulation that our hands do if we train them that way. But if we don't train them at all, then they keep going into patterns that may be unhealthy for the ankle, the knee, or the hips. So let's take a wide stance. Let's just kind of start here. What I want you to do is take your hands to the fingertips to this crease between the hip and the thigh, and then just sort of bend one knee and lean into that hip or that knee, and then lean the other way. But at the same time, keep your feet and your toes, pointing on these train tracks forward, and the sole of your foot pressing down. Inhale, exhale. Now maybe you've already activated the inner critic. You've already decided that this is too hard, or that this is just a bigger challenge for you than you wanted to do today. And I want you to listen to that inner critic. I want you to accept that its wisdom is part of you because of experiences that you've had. But at the same time, I want you to also be able to challenge that inner critic, like any advice you get. What happens is we let that critic go on auto repeat, and it just continues to tell us what we should or shouldn't do, and is also very, very abusive. Turn one foot towards like the short edge of your mat and leave that other leg sort of pointing in that direction. Bend this front knee some and bring it back up. Now I want you to squeeze your core muscles in. So again and again, during your practice, I want you to find a calm inner center, a place where you can go where you feel relaxed and still. So studies show that when we do this yogic breathing, these yoga poses, bend this knee and hold. Now practice, this may be a challenge for you, rocking your pelvis forward and then back up. So just like you would take a bowl and tip it a little and bring it back up. So whether you're doing this a little or a lot, we're just trying to dig in, so kind of get your finger in there. Studies show that this yogic breathing and the poses and the pranayama and the concept, number one concept in yoga is ahimsa, to do no harm, to be nonviolent, that it grows your brain, that it reduces the incidence of things like depression and anxiety and lessens the risk of things like Alzheimer's and dementia. Now tip forward and hold. Turn your hips more to the front edge of your mat, whether you're facing me, but you're facing this front leg. And then you turn your back leg, bring your opposite hand around to the knee, and then just hold. So we're practicing the twist in the spine while we're opening up and stretching out the hips. Take a breath in, breathe out. Come all the way back, so kind of swing back to the front. Let's do that again. What we're going to do is bend one knee, then the other. So I say you should appreciate the inner wisdom of that inner critic, because it's there trying to help you. So you say, thank you, inner critic. I know you're trying to help me. All of that guilt and shame and all of those feelings that I have, there are a reason that they're there. Just like there's a reason for pain in your physical body. But once you've figured out what that reason is and you're caring for it, then you can let go of the pain. And sometimes our body just continues. You've always had this experience where you've already healed, but your body is still in pain. All right, so now we're going to go to the other side. That is, return sort of away from me. Turn this other foot, the back foot a little bit. And remember, always keep the knees and the feet pressed down. Bend this, I'll call it the front knee, and straighten it. Again, trying to keep this knee gliding on a track, because the bones of the knee are only held together by ligaments, and you probably know those ligaments can get injured and strained quite easily. So if you get in the habit of twisting and circling your knee around too much, you can overstretch those ligaments. So in yoga, our goal is never to stretch the ligament. In fact, the connective tissue sort of has a mind of its own, and it gets tight, and so that's why we say, oh, my muscles are tight. It's usually not your muscles. It's usually the connective tissues whose job it is to protect you. So just like that inner critic, bend this knee and hold, hands to the crease there, practice rocking the pelvis forward and back up. So again, you take the two handles of the pot, rock it forward and back up. And again, what this does is it lubricates where the leg bone inserts into the hip socket. Give you a couple of moments to figure this one out. I just said that yoga does really good things to grow your brain. So they do these things like MRIs, fMRIs, and of course they self-report on how happy people are. Now hold this one forward. This is where we turn the hip bones to the, I'll call it the front, turn this back leg and hold. Just hold for a moment. I want you to seat that back heel. So there's so many things happening in a yoga pose. It takes too much discussion for me to explain it all, but do feel that back Achilles tendon. Now take the opposite hand around, almost like in a twist. So we're getting the twist action of revolved extended angle pose without the extreme twisting that actually entails. And come back. Come all the way back up and walk your feet together into Tadasana. Bring the hands together, press the toes down, bring the thumbs into the heart. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, let's lean side to side. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Exhale. When you exhale, this is your opportunity to pull the abdominals in and visit with that calm inner space. Exhale. Keep the arch in the feet. So at once your mind is staying with all the little corrections. Oftentimes in a yoga practice, the instructor gives you so many instructions and corrections that it's hard for you to keep up. Stretch straight up, lift the pinky side of the arm up, and then extend a little bit back. Pull the navel in and up, support the low back. So instead of falling back and kind of cracking your back, you're creating a musculature around the low back for support. Let's come up, pull the shoulders down, widen your feet a little bit, bend your knees and push your hips back, 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 and hold. So it should feel like you're falling into the back of your heel. And oh my gosh, how am I going to keep this from falling? Well, the answer is that your abdominals are holding in and balancing you. So that center is really still over the insteps of your feet. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, sweep the arms out and fold into a forward bend. Now bend your knees so that when you come down to your forward bend, you're not just stretching your hamstrings, but you're allowing the lower back. I want you to feel this. I want you to feel how good that is in the low back. So in psychology terms, they call it unconditional positive regard. That every time you activate your inner critic, you think of 3 things that are very good about yourself, because those are true too. And again, what the studies show is what yoga does is allows you to see around the thing that's right there in the middle of your emotional experience. Let's walk back into downward dog. And what that does is it clears out the neurochemicals in your brain. So bend your knees, stretch your arms forward, press the fingertips down, and roll the shoulders out and pull the arms in. Those were a lot of corrections. It's okay if you didn't get that. Come down to hands and knees. Extend one leg straight back. Extend the opposite arm forward. What we're doing is we're strengthening the core. So if we're going to get up, move, and do something about whatever it is we want to change, we need the strength to do that in a non-violent way. When I say listen to your body's inner wisdom, that doesn't mean just do the very first thing that comes to mind, because often our cognitive mind, our thinking mind, comes up with a solution that feels good right in this moment, but ultimately is not really supporting what we want. Let's come down, try the other leg. Extend it back, squeeze your abdominals in. Another thing about this negative critic is that it does not motivate you. We may think that if we say, you're not good enough, you have to try harder. What studies again show that what that does is it closes you down from possibility. And so instead of spending your time feeling supported and trying, you stop trying. Because it hurts. Trying hurts. Let's come all the way down and press back into child's pose. Now I want you to work on breathing. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. Just do this. Breathe in and breathe out. Slow down. We just did a very good vinyasa, a nice flow to open up the hips and twist out the spine. We're going to go slower now and stretch out. And during this time, I want you to visit with yourself. Just breathe. Just this one breath. Don't go fast, don't go slow. Honor the body and what it needs. Notice the sensations as they arise. Three more breaths. Come forward and down onto the belly. So however you transition is the right way, but stay conscious and cognizant that you're doing this in a safe way. Let's come down onto the hands with the headrest. Then try lifting both legs. See if you can. Then squeeze the leg bones and the heels together, squeeze the abdominals, and then widen the legs out. Try that a few times. So kind of scissor the legs together and out. Now this is hard. I don't know if you're trying it with me or just watching. But if you're trying it and you're thinking, this is so hard, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I want you to also think about how great it is that you're trying and that you're succeeding at breathing and maybe lifting your legs at all, and that you're strengthening your low back, and that you're going to feel better because you have this new strength. And then release the legs down. I want you to roll kind of toward me. One arm up and roll. And then bend that bottom leg. See that bottom leg back there? Take this top arm. See if you can reach around and grab your foot. And then pull your toes toward you. So put your head down. I don't want you really to ever have to support your head. Wouldn't that be a great thing? Take this top knee and bend it so that it's now supporting you. This is a big twisting stretch, again, getting us ready for a revolved extended angle pose, which is what we're working on today. Breathe in. Breathe out. This is a delicious stretch. On the front, the leg on the floor, the front of that leg is very tight and cramped up and pulling in. When we have had a lot of criticism, when we've had a lot of negative feelings and thoughts that are on repeat, we pull in. Again, when there's a lot of criticism, all it really succeeds in doing is building a wall. You're not going to hurt me again. Even if the critic is inside of you, you still pull in and defend yourself from it. And then release that out. I guess I'll go the other way. So roll back to your belly. Extend that arm. Roll sort of onto that side. Take the bottom leg and bend the knee. It doesn't matter which way you're facing. Reach this top arm around. See if you can find that foot. Grab the toes and pull. So it is good for the knee to bend it a lot, to take it and flex it as far kind of as possible. It's not good necessarily if you're like on your feet and you do that, because that might be a lot of weight, a lot of pressure. You might have to build up to that. But when we're in a pose of repose, when we're not on our feet, we can bend that knee a lot. So really give that a hard pull. Let your head down, take this top knee over, let the knee hold you. This is a good one. This is one of those poses you may want to try a few more times on your own, because we're getting a good, juicy kind of twist in the low back. We're stretching the front of that bottom leg. Don't forget your breath. Rest your head. And then release. Let's make our way slowly up into hands and knees pose now. When you get there, remember the transition, all that really matters is that your abs are functioning and doing the job of protecting you. So step 1 foot forward, lean forward. Here's an important correction. Lean forward. That's an important correction. Whichever hand is of that back leg, push that one down, bring this other hand to the knee and twist the chest. So the key here is that this knee, the one in front, is coming in close to the chest. So even give it a little pull or press it in towards the chest. At the same time, take this opposite shoulder and push it towards your knee. So you may say, I have flesh in the way. Yes, we do. That flesh will move. So even if you have to take your hand and pick it up and lift it and get it out of the way, it'll move. But yes, I understand there's flesh there. And then we'll come out of this and try the other side. So that was a big twist. I do feel that in my low back. Step forward, lean forward. It's the lean forward that makes all the difference here. So we were just talking about the flesh. Push forward. Give that a second to kind of soak in. I want you to be careful about how you talk to yourself. So this hand down, this hand to the knee, spin, but knee in towards the chest or the shoulder and pull the shoulder in close to the knee. I want you to be careful about how you speak to yourself. It's okay to acknowledge, yes, I have flesh and I have this shape of my body. It's not okay to be abusive about that. So I want you to maintain that when I have that inner critic, it shows suffering. So for example, maybe someone else has pointed out that I have flesh and that there's too much of me, and then I continue that dialogue So notice that it shows up to show that you've been suffering and you deserve compassion and empathy. And then release. Let's come around to a seated pose. So again, your transitions matter, that you stay supported. So come down to the hips. Lean a little bit back into a supported boat pose, so maybe hands on the floor. Remember, the chest and the belly are kind of rising up. So notice the difference between a rounded back and a straight spine. It's very important. It's very important that your abs learn to hold a straight spine. Even when you're moving around, you're going to pick something up, use your hips, your hip joint we worked on, and the knee joint and the ankle joint, those things we worked on. Don't use your spines. Your spine has flexibility and it's fine to move your spine. But the strongest the spine is when it's held straight. It's also the safest, so that the intervertebral discs have space. All right, let's roll all the way down. When you come down, lift one leg up. Catch it. Stretch it up. Same thing we did before. Circle the ankle around. And then the other way. And then point and flex. And then rock side to side. Now flex and hold hard. If you have all that kind of crazy mobility and flexibility, reach and grab the toe, your toes, give that a pull. Take that leg, cross the thigh over the other thigh, so bring the other leg in, cross the thighs, grab the legs anywhere, and pull the knees towards you. Remember ahimsa, that we don't want to hurt ourselves. And when we see the good in ourselves, it restructures the brain. In psychology, it's called cognitive restructuring, that your brain is constantly rewiring, it's growing and pruning. Sprouting and pruning is what it's called. And it rewires in a different way. When we suffer harsh criticism and pain, it rewires around that pain, so those memories and that part of the brain is no longer accessible. So in essence, you're losing access to parts of your brain. Let's go to the other side. So just kick one leg up, catch, pull it in, circle the foot around. So when we practice this way, non-violently, let's go the other way, and the mind is open. So keep a curious, open, kind of relaxed mind. Let's flex and point. They theorize that the benefit to the brain that we get from yoga isn't so much, rock side to side, from what we are doing in what we are not doing. We're not activating that critic, and we're being grateful for the sensations that we do have. Now take that bottom leg, cross at the knees, grab wherever you want, and pull. Feel your low back and how good that feels. A nice open stretch across the low back from like side to side. Now stretch out into Shavasana. Let everything fall and relax open. So take a deep breath in and just let it go. I want you to spend some time alone. Let go of any judgment as you let go of the muscles. Breathe in peace. Breathe out peace. Breathe in peace. Breathe out peace. So imagine that there is a spot inside of you that is the source of loving kindness, compassion. And as you practice Shavasana, that grows stronger, more powerful, and you can feel it like you could feel the warmth and the vibration of a light. So imagine that that light is growing stronger as your body is growing softer. So now soften your belly. Soften your belly. Soften. Spend time alone with your highest essence. Now rhythmically breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Slowly draw your knees in. Gently pull them towards your chest. Breathe in, breathe out. Release your feet to the floor. Wrap your arms around yourself like a big hug. Breathe in. Breathe out. Again. Gently, kindly roll to your side. When you get there, breathe down your back. Breathe up your back. Open your eyes. Push off the floor. When you get all the way back up, let's sit. Breathe in. Breathe out. If you can synchronize that, you just continue that kind of rhythmic, deep breath, even when times are tough. Bring your hands together, touch the thumbs to the heart. Inhale, breathe in. Exhale, hands back to center. I honor and bow to the inner wisdom, even if it's critical, inside of you. Namaste.